For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back. WFO Radio, back on the air, all channels, all social media. We're all over the place, and hopefully you will share this show. Fans of NHRA drag racing, we've got a Summit Racing Equipment NHRA National Super Show with Blake Alexander, Matt Hartford, Hector Arana, all going to debrief on their huge win out there at America's Racetrack right here on this program. So much emotion. NHRA releases this video after each event behind the scenes, so you see what happens behind the scenes. And it was just chock with raw emotion. There was joy, there were tears. It was just amazing how big a race this was. Everybody wants that very special billet ice cream scoop. We're going to speak with Hartford, then Blake, then Hector Arana. So please share the show. We're popping on a different time and day here on WFO Radio, but that's fine. Nobody cares about that. They watch the show after the fact. But what is great is when the audience really pumps it out, especially fans of said drivers who we will speak to momentarily. In fact, let me tell you about the people who make it possible. One of them is Total Seal Piston Rings. So we're going to talk to Hartford a little bit about that. Of course, the Hidden Horsepower podcast is rocking, all kinds of good stuff going on. Make them your first call, not your last call. And we have a new episode of Hidden Horsepower up in the podcast feed and on the socials. Check that out. TotalSeal.com. Phillips Connect, of course, always on board with WFO Radio. Justin Ashley, another big final round. Smart Trailer Technology, for those of you out there in the transportation industry looking to keep your stuff safe and on time. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when your wheel bearings are heating up and your driver doesn't know. Phillips-Connect.com. Bernie Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com, located in Ocala, Florida, over 100,000 square feet. They're buying classic muscle cars, exotic cars. They're selling classic muscle cars and exotic cars on consignment, by the way. You can do yours. They do frame-off restorations. They sell things like e-bikes, etc. Go to Bernies.com, follow them on their social media, and I have done my job. Bernies.com. You heard a little bit about FTI performance transmissions and torque converters at the start of the show. Of course, they're on so many winning Pro Mod cars, Top Sportsman, Top Drags, or 890 Index bracket cars. Only winners on WFO Radio, at least on this show. And Foggett. This is Gary Stinnett and Steve Williams getting together to solve the problems of so many racers out there who put their race car away late night. Think about Saturday night at Norwalk. It was 12:30. You're running, then you stuff it in the trailer. You got to be ready for the next day. Got to fog it down, protect the inside of the cylinder walls. Maybe Hartford will have something to say about that. Like, is the cylinder wall important? I don't know. Go to Foggett.com. We'll find out more information. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about samtech.edu. I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. And, of course, I'll tell you about Marvin Rodak and Rodak's coffeeandgrills.com. But right now, let's get it started. All right, NHRA drag racing fans, we're going to hear from 3 winners as we get ready to go into the Western Swing, starting off with the CEO of Total Seal, who is also the driver and energy behind the whole Total Seal team, Matt Hartford. What's up, Matt? Congratulations.
Thank you, pal. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I am super excited. For you. It's noon. It's 5 minutes after noon for those that are checking out the show in the first run. You a little bit earlier out there out west. But what's it like when you get back to Total Seal after a big win?
Well, you come strolling in here on Monday morning about 5:30 or so, and half the staff's already here because we start about 4:30 in the morning, and had a lot of congratulations, a lot of people coming by and, walking around the shop. It seems like everybody knew that we won and qualified number one. So social media is working, and the people who didn't see it on social media watched it on Fox. So it was feeling walking back in here and having a nice ice cream scoop to go along with it.
Yeah, how about that ice cream scoop? Let's cut to the chase, right? That's the one that everybody wants. It's one of the specialty trophies. You've got one. Let's see that thing. Tell me about it. You're getting a great view. That's awesome.
It's heavy. It is like, I don't know, it is massive. I mean, it's got to weigh 5 pounds. So, getting Wallies is the best thing in the world. But, there's been a lot of Wallies, but there's only one ice cream scoop. If you see this, it's from Norwalk. So, it's kind of like the cowboy hat from Dallas. That's where it came from. It's too bad we're not going to Sonoma this year because I hear they got a nice wine glass there. But these specialty trophies are they're awesome to have because it's such you'll always look back and know exactly what happened that day.
Yeah, that's the specialty trophy. That's what it's all about. So let's talk about this event before we get into the round by round. Just watching your season unfold. It's been your best season ever, performance-wise. Now, statistically speaking as well. That win just changes the dynamic. A couple of final rounds, Mission Food's Too Fast, Too Tasty, a couple of number one qualifiers. That's great. But without a win, there's something missing. Now you got to win and you can go for multiple. So, that changes the dynamic of what has happened to this point.
Yeah, Eddie and I were talking about that this morning. It's like we've got 3 number one qualifiers this year. There's only been 8 races so far in Pro Stock. So 3 yellow hats, 1 white hat from the Mission, which isn't the white hat that we're ultimately looking for, but it's definitely a good step in the right direction. Winning that was really cool at Pomona, a runner-up at Pomona, and then a win in Norwalk, and sitting number 2 on points. I mean, the entire Total Seal CIP1 team is, we're rocking right now. We have a great program. We're going into what we consider a favorable racetrack for us. We've had good success in Denver. By all means, that doesn't even mean that we can qualify this year there, but history says we've ran well. So, we got a lot of momentum, we got a lot of confidence, and the goal is to, take our program and put it right back in the winner's circle. And last weekend we did it for Rottler and Denver. It's going to have Getrix on the side of the car as the major sponsor. So, our goal is to put it right back in the winner's circle with them on board.
Is that news? That seems news, or was that pre-planned? I know that Stephen Scott from Getrix, which is Global Electronic Technology, so they've been involved in the sport for several years. They came on with you earlier this year and had a great time. Like, I hung out with Scott in Pomona, and he seemed to love the Pro Stock experience. Steve Bryson is on a bit of a winning streak, it seems, because he had a car take a checkered flag at Le Mans.
Yes, that was we were watching that. I was following along the whole time. With their social media, and that was great that they took I think they finished 1 and 2 over there, and then this we won the Mission deal with them on the car. Hector won this weekend on the bike with them on the side of the bike. They were on the side of our car on the front fender for the Norwalk. So they're definitely having a great season, and it's an honor to have them on board. And they've just done so much for us here at Total Seal and all the other companies that they help out. So we're going to try to take both, Getrix and Total Seal and CIP1 and all of our other sponsors and keep the momentum going for the rest of the season. And it was new. The Denver was a new addition to what we already knew we were going to do with them, but Denver was new as of this week.
Well, I love to see that. Performance equals success, not just on the racetrack, but in the boardroom. If someone is going to be on the side of a race car, you've got one that's going rounds. Let's put it that way. All right, got a lot of people out there. Caleb is out there. He was out there in Norwalk. Can't wait for Denver. Got tickets. A lot of people going to Denver. We'll talk about that later because there's a little bit of a sad element. The entire WFO universe, they know Total Seal's involvement with the podcasts and all. But you guys lost Friday. So let's talk about how that affected anything. Did it not affect anything? You guys had to just kind of go with 2 qualifying sessions.
Yeah, we really needed Friday. Looking back, I guess we didn't need Friday, but in our minds, getting to Norwalk, we needed 4 qualifying runs. We struggled at Bristol. It's a race that we never got our arms around. We had a lot of issues on every level, and we should just cross it off the list that we attended it. So we were looking forward to Norwalk, getting in 2 good runs on Friday, kind of getting our handle on what changes we should make with the car and how to proceed. Well, when it gets washed out and you show up on Saturday morning, your whole outlook on the day changes, because now there's 18 or 20 cars on the grounds. There's cars that are not going to qualify. you don't want to be one of those cars not to qualify. So you have to kind of roll up there a little more conservative than what you think you should, but yet you don't want to give up any qualifying positions by being too soft. So we went up there with what we thought was a really nice package. It should go A to B without any issue and be close to the front. And I decided I wanted to wear out the rev limiters on the way down on that run. So that kind of killed our run, and we ended up third, but we definitely could have went better in Q1. And we came back for Q2. And at that point in time, we're solidly in the show. What do? Do you work on a Sunday tune-up for race day, or you look up at the clouds and say, well, the clouds are kind of coming in. Track should be close. The air is a little bit worse, but it's good enough. If we make the same run and drive better, we can maybe go a thou or two around the number one qualifier. So Eddie and I bickered back and forth for a little bit, and Eddie and KI just kind of stood back and laughed at us. And at the end of the day, Eddie made the best calls like he always does. And we went up there and went right to the front.
Well, and that was, it was a difficult session. Everybody was, most everybody was slowing down, but you had said you were confident that you could go back to the top and take over number one. So that is your third of the season. Yes. Best season of qualifying ever. That you got your first number one qualifier this season. What's been the difference, Matt?
Everybody keeps asking that. And I think it just goes back to just keeping our heads down and focusing on our own program. We're not worried about what the KB camp is doing. We're not worried about what the elite camp is doing. We're not worried about what Heiner is doing. We're worried about what's inside the trailer in our own camp. And I guess the best way to look at that is all day long, every car with lane choice took the left lane, except for the very first pair. Heiner did take the right lane in E1. But other than him, every car with lane choice and Pro Stock took the left lane. We took the right lane with lane choice all 4 rounds. And that right there, I think, shows that we're not worried about what other people are doing, and we're not focused on, this guy says you should do this. No, we're doing what we think and what our program tells us that we should do. And I think that's been a huge benefit to us this year.
Well, you're several years into this deal and running full time. It wasn't that long ago you were running these part-time schedules and in and out, et cetera, and so on. And now you're making a run. You're making a championship run. Like, it may not happen, but you're one of the cars in the conversation. So first round, you got to go up against Fernando Quadra. You run a 61 with a 17 reaction time. So at that point, like, you're hitting the tree and the car is fast, probably trying to not think about the things that have happened to this point, but you obviously want to win. So tell me about that fight to stay out of your own head.
Yeah, that's, I had the luxury of sitting through Frank Hawley's school. I know he's part of your show, but I had the luxury of sitting through his school over the winter, or after Gainesville, when Adam went. I sent him to Super Gas school, and sitting there for a couple days and in the classroom and talking to Frank out on the track. Let me tell you, it's an eye-opening. You sometimes you think that you already have the answers, and then you talk to somebody that's way smarter than you and has way more experience than you, and you realize, wow, I can learn a lot from this person. And I did. And I'm not saying I learned everything, because I didn't, but I took away a few things about, I can't change anything about what I've already done or what's happened back in the pits. When I'm sitting in that car, I've backed up from the burnout. It doesn't matter if I think in my head that did I put the right amount of timing in it, or did I change the fuel curve like this? I can't change it. So you have to clear it out of your head. And I think that's been a huge factor for me driving this year. And when you roll up against a guy like Fernando, look, he's got elite power. He's got a great team over there, and Fernando can cut a light. So we went up there, we went up running Fernando just like if it was Dallas Glenn in the other lane. So, luckily the win light came on in our lane.
There you go. Go into second round where you run, Derek Kramer, Michael Heiner, the team that you are self-admittedly, and they say so too, that you guys borrow each other's stuff and the closest with, but 2 independent teams. But man, you guys had to run each other a lot over the past couple of years. But now you're both running very well, which
right.
That kind of changes the dynamic a little bit, right? Because Heiner has said, I love to beat Eddie. I like to spin him up. Heiner's got a show for our Patrons. Are you aware of that?
I just heard about this. I heard that there's a little speakeasy for WFO.
Yes, the Patreon, the Heiner Show is like the speakeasy for WFO listeners. You got to know where it is. You got to get in there. They all, they pay a premium, man. It's pretty amazing. But Heiner gives us a nice debrief. He always says, you want to be invited onto the Michael Heiner Show. He asks very tough and brutal questions.
Yeah. No, so we, after first round, they've had the golden horseshoe this year. There's no doubt about it. And I mean that with all due respect. They're running really fast and Derek drives really well. But they've also had a lot of luck this year. There's been a lot of things fall their way that maybe past years hasn't. First round was a good example for that. Their car basically shut off when he swapped feet, but camera had went red. And they came back, and normally you don't see them scrambling. And without Dave being there this weekend, they were scrambling, especially not knowing what the problem was. So I did walk over as soon as I got finished servicing our car for after round one for round two, and we had to run them. I did walk over and ask Heiner if there was anything he needed, and he'd already been over to borrow a few things. If there was anything that he needed, or if any of our crew could come over and help him, we would certainly do anything for them. And it doesn't matter if they were running us or anybody else. We extended the offer, anything that they needed. And,
that is,
except the wind light, we weren't extending that.
Yeah, well, you guys went and got it. Hey, there's a bunch of people checking in saying congratulations. Detail Guy 317 says Hartford rules. Great job, y'all. Keep up the great work. Rick says nice win. Blake says congratulations. Matt Hartford Racing, who knows who that might be, says Heiner is a fabulous door holder.
Well, if my lovely wife would attend some of these races that we win, she could be the door holder, but no, she can't come to Norwalk. So,
what about Denver? Is she coming to Denver?
She'll be in Denver.
Okay. You got to get a win. You got to get a win with Amber there. Nick says, great to see your hard work paying off. Megan says, congratulations. Steven says, congratulations on fantastic weekend. Number one qualifier, winning the race, special trophy. Yeah, that's kind of a dominant deal, man. You won from number one. That's the first time that's happened.
Yeah. It was so many years I just wanted to qualify number one. Then we actually do for two races, and we can't capitalize on it. So we finally capitalized on it. And, the first two rounds were definitely difficult. You move into round three, and let me tell you, you look at round three and you say it's Aaron Stanfield. But, we just went, 60 with a number in the second round. So we knew we had a good car. And we knew it put some pressure on him, but we both went up there. We both drove well. And, we had a faster car than him all weekend. That's not always the case, but we did this weekend. So, my mind said rolling up there, leave with him. You don't have to leave ahead of him, just leave with him and we can outrun him. And, when you have a fast car, it builds a lot of confidence. You don't always have to say, I got to be 00 to beat this guy.
That's some Warren Johnson stuff right there. Like, you got a performance advantage, you use it. And by the way, get well WJ out there. I know you guys are tight as well. Chris out there saying congratulations to you. Chris has worked on the team. Terry says he'll work for food. Paul saying congratulations.
He has.
Yeah. Everybody, and he has. Exactly. So you get to the final round. Who's there? Dallas Glenn. The nemesis of kind of everybody this year. He's having a career season as well. He is. You are, Derek is.
Right.
And there are other players that when they turn it on, it's going to be ever tougher. So tell me about prepping for that final round. And he was the one who shook this time, and you were onward to victory. And the guys were just like very confident. It was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah. And I think the funny story is Adam's comment, my brother Adam. And he means this with all the respect in the world, as do I. But, you look at the entire KB camp over there. I mean, it's basically like NASA. I mean, Dallas said after the semifinals, he's got the best crew chiefs in the business. And he has, they have a lot of experience. They have all the round wins behind them, all the championships behind them. They have so much technology and so much data that we don't have. And Adam said to me when he came down to the end of the track, he says, you don't know how proud I am to be standing on the starting line. I look over, KI is on one side, Eddie's on the other. You're in the car. And I look over at Dallas's lane, and there's about 95 people behind his car. And we won. So, that's a huge feather in our team's cap, that we're a small independent team. We utilize their power, but we're still a small independent team. and to be able to go against the juggernaut of KB or Elite or whoever it may be, to win a round or to win a race against them it's huge for us. I think then when they beat us, I don't think it's as big of a deal, but when we beat them, to us, it's monumental.
Well, that's what underdog stories are. That's the underdog story. You're in the mom and pop store going up against the big giant corporation. They have invented pro stock as we now know it. KB Titan, KB Racing, Greg Anderson, Elite has taken it to even another level. And you're showcasing, and this is what I think is most interesting to everybody out there, that it can be done. And if you're sports car guys or top sportsman guys or whatever, if you put together a program where you have some money to get the power from one of these powerhouses that provide it, you can do it. It can be done. That's amazing. That's what's new about this ride that's happening.
You got to have power. And let me tell you, I don't think that there's anybody that works harder than Greg Anderson and that KB Titan group. Those guys work 7 days a week. I don't know how many hours a day, but it is nonstop. And that is the reason that we can run at the front and win races, is that we have great power from them. And I believe them when they tell me that we have as good a power as they do. Now, it may not be horsepower for horsepower. There may be, maybe 2 or 3 back, but there's no doubt that they are providing lease customers like ourselves or the Kramer team with Heiner tuning it, as good a power as what's in Kyle's car, Dallas's car, or Greg's car. And without that, you can't race at this level. So, a lot of respect for what they do for us on that level.
All right, look ahead to Denver. This is a big race. I know Michael Heiner told the Patreon audience that they're going to test, very important to the Kramer family, try to win the last one. I totally know what that's all about. I went to the last drag race at Miami Hollywood, tried to win it, got to the semis, didn't win it. But there's an emotional attachment to that place. But you do it too. You have too. You've won there last year, you and Leah. This is a one-off. It's unlike any other racetrack. So the data that you've got, totally useless everywhere else. To me, this is an interesting race because it's just win the final race at Bandamere, period.
Yeah, we're going there with 100% ambition to win that race, and we don't care who gets in our way. We are going to do everything we can to put the car right back in the winner's circle. There's been, if you look back at the last 8 elimination rounds at Denver, we've been in all 8. 1 runner-up, 1 win. We definitely want to go back to back in Denver. That would be to master the mountain up there. I mean, AJ did it for years, but to win on the mountain is hard, and to do it twice would be an historic event for us.
Yeah, and very good in the point standings. Dallas has got a bit of a lead. You're second. Derek Kramer is third, but you guys have been kind of swapping back and forth. Every position you can retain, every Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge you're going to get. Those points are valuable and vital to the overall situation. Lauren wants to know, though, why is there a dog on your car? What's up with the dog? Lauren wants to know.
That is Piper. That is one of my 3 Dalmatians. So if you look at all of our race shirts and our T-shirts and everything in the apparel trailer, they'll have Piper, Scarlet, and Tatum on them. So Piper and Tatum are black and white Dalmatians, and Scarlet's a brown and white Dalmatian. So we have 2 black cows and 1 brown cow. And no, we have 3 Dalmatians. We're not getting another one. If Amber's listening, the answer is no. And
the victory Dalmatian, like every time you win, you add one.
No.
All right. One more question. What's going on here? Like, what are you doing? What's happening here? How did this happen? Because I should be angry, but
so that is you getting taken advantage of, plain and simple. Yeah. When you and Nikki were sitting in the golf cart and I brought you out a T-shirt, we started talking about a social media skit about doing maybe dismounting and mountain tires. There's nobody on my team that likes doing this. We've all done it. We hate it. It's annoying. It's a lot of work.
It doesn't seem like a fun job to do over and over.
It is not. And so when I told Adam that we were going to do this, he was really happy about it. And from what I understand, Nikki just wanted to film this right from the beginning. And Adam talked you into doing a practice one.
Yeah, he did. It's like, maybe we should do one first before the one that you film. And this will go out on NHRA's page, everybody, along with all the other videos. We did a valve spring. We did the clutch. We did a rear end gear. We chilled it down. We warmed it up. We've done everything. Now we're mounting tires. But at the end of the first deal, I'm covered in filth, man. And I'm like, what? This was a big mistake.
Eddie and I were enjoying this from the window. We were inside the trailer watching. So it's, but what we were doing, the reason we were mounting those is that was a brand new set of tires that we need to get scuffed in like every other team does. So you got to go out and you got to do several burnouts on them, make several passes on them. And actually, speaking of Kramer and Mikey Heiner, they were generous enough to say, hey, if we can scuff in one set of tires for you up in Denver when we go test. So that was, that set of tires is going on the American ethanol, or what is it? What's it say? What is it now?
Biofuel.
Biofuel car.
Biofuel.
And it's gonna make some runs for us. So we appreciate that from them. Once again, our teams we're pretty close.
Yeah, excellent. So but Michael Heiner did say on the secret Patreon show that you should have wiped off the wheels before I got all filthy. He said, they didn't even wipe them off, Joe. They didn't even wipe them. I'm kidding, of course. Matt, good job. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're right in the middle of it, man. Like, you didn't come this far, but Erica is getting on point, and Dallas obviously wants his first championship. And there's a lot of people right in the middle of the pack, like a guy like Greg Anderson, who is, look at Eric Latino coming out first time, gets qualified on that big pressure run. Pro Stock so entertaining this year. You're right in the middle of it. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to watch.
Look, and if he didn't have an electrical function in his car where a wire got disconnected when he put it into third gear, it was a fluke accident. He had 4 or 500s on Erica. He was winning that round. There's no doubt, had his car not just shut off because basically electrically it got turned off, he wins that round. And then that's a whole different outlook about, where he could have went for that race. So it's, look, it comes down to this, the points reset after Indy. If we can't beat Dallas, or if we have to race Dallas, we need to beat them. If we're not in a position to run Dallas needs to run the table and win everything he can, because right now, honestly, the fight is for second place going into the reset. So I'd rather Dallas run away and have a 500-point lead, and then that gets reset, versus everybody else coming up and making it tighter, so that you get, like you said, you get Erica from 7th up to 4th, 3rd, 2nd. That makes it harder in the countdown. So either we beat Dallas or he needs to run away with it until the countdown.
There you go. Matt, great job as usual. Appreciate you coming on WFO Radio, and of course your support. Total Seal. How are things at Total Seal? Are they well?
Really busy. We're having a phenomenal year. We got such a great product. We got such great customers, and it's really an honor to go out there and represent Total Seal to our entire fan base. And like I say over and over, everybody on our team goes back to work every week. I come back to Total Seal and work. KI goes back to CIP1 and works. Eddie and Adam both go back and build houses. So we all come back to work and we all represent our companies at the racetrack. But during the week, our focus is to sell piston rings here.
There you go. Well, you seem to be doing a great job. Matt, thank you so much. Oh, what's he got?
Don't forget, it's always right here.
There it is. That is awesome. Appreciate you, and we'll see you in Denver in a couple weeks.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
There he goes, Matt Hartford, with us here on WFO Radio. I see Blake Alexander is next. So fans of Hartford, hopefully you will share the show. Pro Stock fans, everybody want to stir it up. Share WFO Radio. So we got some good stuff going on. And one of the best stories, right? Like I felt like it was all emotional stories. The Leah story, very emotional, that team coming together. But nothing more emotional than this next story, which is Blake Alexander, and he joins us now. What's up, Blake? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great. Like this one, I wish I'm usually quick with the camera. That's my thing. Jason Logan says it all the time. The Castello's quick with the camera, but I wasn't quick enough to catch the awesome photograph of you holding the Wally out the side of that truck on the highway, wherever the heck we were. I was like, who is this?
Yeah, I forgot. I honestly forgot about that.
Who the heck is this? They stole someone's Wally, and no, it's Blake. And you just look jubilant, man. Just let's start there. Like, how great is this moment to finally capture this win with Jim Head and all the work and all of that?
It was a good day. We were happy, and obviously we're kind of like coming back down to earth now and trying to evolve back into what we need to be to continue all that. So it was a good day, though.
Yeah, and you were super emotional. Like Reinhart pointed it out yesterday that the last time you won, you were understated. I don't know if you kept it in. He theorized that, maybe you didn't feel like you guys had deserved it that day. Like, I don't know. But this one, you clearly deserved it. And you let your emotions out for all to see, which I've been hearing a lot of great things about it. Just kind of elaborate on where your headspace is.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little embarrassed by it too. I don't know.
No,
I'm not like embarrassed by it in a bad way. Just I feel like I'm out there a little bit now, And I don't know. We had been performing well leading into the events that I ended up winning, and it was more just I was relieved to get it done, and I knew we could do it. Obviously, I knew we could do it at Jim Head Racing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there. But we built a new car and have a new clutch and all this new stuff on the car. And it just is a lot of work to even say that. But physically, like to learn about it all, it just takes runs, and that's a lot of work. And we had been working a lot that week. This year, we'd rebuilt our whole team the year before. So it all just kind of like was a crescendo, large emotional moment for me.
Yeah, but good. I think that's how you make fans. People love to see that. Like that guy, right? Like you're young, good looking, marketable kid. You've been able to have sponsors on. You've shown that you can drive, great performances, but the stars haven't aligned. And, we all root for Jim Head too. Like that's another thing for him. Like the big win for Jim Head, just tremendous. But I heard you guys tested and the test didn't go very well. So we talked a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong there, but
no, it went okay. It's just like
you always learn with the nitro car, right? Like you're always learning, even if it doesn't go down the track.
Yeah, I mean, we went down the track like 4 out of 6 times, so we did okay. But we didn't get to where we wanted to go to. But also, it kind of helped because we had some 398, 399 plug and play run that we could go to when we needed to, and we also had some understanding of how to go faster and the way we needed to do it, and what the parts were kind of telling us to do, and the car and all that. So we tried to do our best, and Jim and Dave made all the right calls, and Dave was out there hustling, keeping everything in order, and also keeping Jim in order. And then we just kept kind of going about the process, and it felt good to see that all the young kids who we hired, actually a lot of them we've hired through the NHRA launch program, they were all working together really well.
That's great. That's great news for NHRA launch and so many things. All right, there's a bunch of people on here that just want to say congratulations. Lauren, congratulations to you, of course. Monica, congrats to you and your team on the win. Way to go, Blake. You got a lot of people. Like you've been coming on WFO for a long time, Blake. I remember those like one-off rides. You'd put together a sponsorship deal. Come on. Now you're one of the very rare people who has won in Top Fuel and in Funny Car. It's a pretty crazy journey.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, obviously, when I was driving in Top Fuel and Funny Car, I was trying to win, but I never really thought about that per se. We have been very fortunate, my wife and I, to work with lots of great families, and a lot of them, who have helped me along the way in drag racing. They've opened up the doors of their life, their business, and helped us along the way. So we're appreciative of that. And it was cool to achieve what we achieved and do it in Ohio with Jim and all the people there. His wife was there too. And just, it was a good little moment.
So a first round, you get a red light by Wilk, but you went 99 down the track, serviceable run. Second round, Alexis leaves 3,000 early. I talked to Jim. He's like, I wish the car ran better. But now you're in the semis and you're looking at Tasca, and you just get into the semis. You got that Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge thing you're going to be in now when we go to Denver. That's always fun. And you lay down a 92. Now that is the kind of run that you need. And it's a 92 and a 93 back-to-back. What was the conversation like when you got back to the pits getting ready for those rounds? Because you'd been to some semis before, but got bounced.
Yeah, I honestly, when I'm racing against Bob Tasca, I know that I'm going to have to do really well to beat him. So I'm honestly just focused on what I can control. and then I let the chips fall where they may. Obviously, we were trying to go faster against the fastest car on the property to that point that weekend, and we found a way to do it as it was getting hotter, and to do it in the left lane that, to be honest with you, not a lot of people wanted throughout the day. And but we ended up kind of liking it, and even in the final when we had lane choice, we saw some balls lane, and we're initially taking it just because it kind of becomes a monkey see monkey do situation up there when a lot of good cars start taking it and succeeding in the right lane. You kind of don't want to question that, but we stuck to our guns, and Jim, I think he had to give Stretch and Alex some beers because he changed his mind a couple times, but then we got it in the left lane and got down the track.
So, it's 1997.
And the 92 was a good run, by the way. And a lot of people don't realize this, and I'll elaborate on this a little bit. I've been racing against Hagen since I was like 16 years old, and I used to race at like his dad's track, and we would run little Pro Mod cars when Pro Mod was first starting. I guess it would be like they were outlaw Pro Mod cars, and we would race at his track, and he always had a really fast car and would always do really well. And he was always someone I was gunning for, and as our careers have, crossed paths again, him and I have become friends somewhat, and I've, pulled on him, to like learn how to get better, because he's kind of created this environment in feel funny car racing where you're actually reacting really fast, and you're steering the wheels off the car, and you're letting the chutes out on time, and you're taking care of everything inside the cockpit, making sure you're not hurting stuff. And he just made it a little bit more intense. And when I finally beat him, I actually cried when he hugged me. So that was kind of the funny part. I was joking around with my family. It was like, I was emotional about stuff, but then like it was a weird moment to like get emotional when that dude was hugging you.
But I could totally see those. That's joyful, man. The work that you put in that nobody sees. You told us in the media center, up at 4 every day, knock out some work. Then the family gets up. You see them off to their, wherever they got to go. And you're just, you're
don't remind me. I did it today. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I get it. And that's what people need to see. And Hagen, the guy is awesome. 3-time champ. Good old boy, comes over, gives you a big hug, says you did a great job. That, by the way, 028 in the final round. You did a great job. Did you poke it in at all?
No, I had my fastest 60 foot all day. I don't really think I could do it over and over again, but I was very amped up. And the last time I raced him in the final, I was amped up, but I was like tight and had, you can use the energy one way or the other. And I had an 80 light, and I was really upset with myself, and I was trying to make sure that I didn't do that again.
Awesome. I think I saw JR down there. You had a good collection of your peers to come down to wish you congratulations. That doesn't always happen every week.
Yeah, no, it was cool. He was down there. I actually told, I don't, at the risk of sounding, I look up to them as, they're the best. Those guys are, and it was cool to have them down there. And, obviously there's other great drivers out there as well, but to have them down there, they're my buddies too, and we shoot the shit, but it was cool to have them down there just in that moment where I actually did something that they kind of understand how hard it is to do, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they were there to congratulate me as a friend as well, all at the same time. So
no, great moment. And yeah, that is the downside of what you do, is that it's really hard to relate. I've swung at a baseball, kind of hard to relate to what you do. Let's talk point standings. You're 11th in the points, but you guys don't get the benefit of the, the participation trophy. So you got to race your way into the top 10. Are you guys going to run the rest of the races? What's the schedule? All of that stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to go to Denver. We never go to Denver. We're going to show back up at Seattle. If we make the countdown, that's great. I think we have the last couple of years. And then we kind of go from there. We just show up and try to put on a good event for our sponsors, the fans, run a good, safe race car. And obviously we want to win. It was great to win. And we're going to continue to try to do that. I think that we'll see some similar track conditions. And, everything really will kind of be similar for the summer, par for the course, where the conditions will vary, but they'll be on the hot side, and there'll be some good racetracks in Sonoma and Seattle that we'll get a chance to get a shot at.
Awesome. Is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to put out there, talk about, say, mention to the WFO universe?
I don't know. It was cool having Jim's wife there. It was one of the things that I thought was kind of unique, just like all that she's put into it. I know how much my wife deals with, like I said, everyone's putting up with my SHIT on TV. Some little kids said Mr. Blake said some bad words to me in my neighborhood, and I apologize for that. But yeah, they just put up with a lot of stuff, the women and our family members and the travel and everything, and just all the highs and a lot of the lows, if you know what I'm saying, because this is a lot it's kind of like golf where there's only one winner and you can carve out this beautiful life for yourself in it and not be winning all the time, and people just don't understand it. So it was nice to have our moment in the sun, and we literally have been talking about this morning and yesterday how we can put our heads back down and put ourselves back in that position, because as shocking as it was and unexpected for everyone else, we obviously believed in ourselves if we were there, if we were continuing to put in the work, and we're going to continue doing that.
That's awesome. No, that's what we need. Well, we need you. The sport is better out there as with you in it. Again, young, marketing savvy, interesting character, that. And so if you could get up there and, mix it up for a win here and there, man, that's going to be very good for NHRA drag racing. And everybody loves this guy. And so great job. This was the moment, though, man. This was the moment that I love the best. Drinking from the chalice of victory. This is it. How sweet was that?
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was cool that I feel like a decent amount of people stuck around, considering, just the way the weather was. I think it rained in between the second and the third round or something like that. I can't remember. It rained for a little bit and then it went away. But everyone hung in there, and like I said, the boys did a really good job. That race car was on point in the last two rounds. And really, to be honest with you, I was just as proud of them running 99, 404, 99, with our backs kind of against the wall. Those were good licks to run and then get ourselves in the position that we were in. And I guess it was cool to see that people were trying hard against me in the first couple rounds.
Yeah, they were. I see Hector Arana is down there in the ready room. Let me hit you with one last question. And just because, it's like you lived this experience, your whole team you suffered a tragedy, right? Together. And what is that? How is that a part of this? Do you deliver for the family? Do you how do you celebrate Dylan with this moment?
Well, they're definitely getting a Wally, so that's good. That's better than not having one. It doesn't replace him at all. He's still missing in our lives, and we think about him every day. We were thinking about him before the final round, and we miss him. That's really all I can say, and we'll go from there. We keep working hard.
Yeah, keep working hard. All right, so we'll see you in Seattle.
All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. Good job. Congratulations. Many more to come. Super exciting. Don't ever turn down the emotion. People are saying in the chat section right now, the emotion is better, man. People love that stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble.
The S word, a lot of people like that too, man. I don't know. That's how people feel like you're real. That makes you real when you use a bad word every once in a while. We'll smooth it over.
I thought I was the only one who said it. But apparently not.
Shock. No, I'm sure I'll say it again eventually. All right, Blake.
All right.
Way to go, brother. Good job.
Later, gentlemen.
There you
Have
go.
a nice day.
Blake Alexander with us here on WFO Radio. And fans of Blake, fans of Nitro, share the show. We appreciate what you're doing. We're trying to beat that algorithm out there that's holding us back. They're holding us back, guys. That's why when you share WFO Radio, you're fighting against the man. I don't know. I'm just trying to set up that straw man argument. I'm big on straw man arguments these days. They're easy to identify. All right. This guy's not a straw man. This guy's a real man. And he's going to tell us about his pro stock motorcycle win. Joining us now, Mr. Hector Arana Jr. What's up, Hector?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you, Joe?
I'm great. I am great. The question is, how are you? What are you doing? Are you at work?
Oh, man, I'm at work. I was running around like crazy trying to get a good signal so I could hear you guys. It was cutting in and out for a while, but I hooked up to the Wi-Fi, and it seems to be working pretty good now.
Working so good for now. Thank you for putting in all that effort. And Hector Arana and the Arana family is back after those coming out of nowhere during the countdown last year, doing real well, a couple of wins, really great runs. Now here in 2023, you are the second racer not named Gage Herrera to win, and kind of like ran real well too. So walk us through your event.
Yeah, you just have to say that, our team has been doing an awesome job. We've been running, really consistently, and we've had a couple little gremlins and hiccups here and there, but overall we've been running really well. And right out of the box with a 681, and then from the 681, we had one of those little hiccups. We learned from our lesson against that we lost against the final in Angie, but we were able to learn from that. A little nervous going into first round, but we put a little soft tune-up in there to make sure we got down the track, and still were able to run a 682, a 680 after that following, which is one of the better runs of the whole entire weekend, and then 2 more 682. So we had a very consistent and a fast bike overall. We were able to maintain the pace where it seemed like other bikes, they were running the numbers but then slowed down. So just very consistent. That also, gave me the confidence that I needed to stay consistent. I believe after that I was really consistent with my lights all day as well. And I mean, that's what wins the races is consistently. I mean, you got to be fast, but you got to be consistent. So consistent bike, consistent lights as a rider, and from there we were able to get the job done.
Yeah, it's you ran Wesley first round, Wesley Wells. I don't know if it was his first start, but good to see him make the show. Angie in the second round, so we had a little bit of rematch of the Too Fast, Too Tasty. This, of course, assuming that the ladder on NHRA.com is correct. Then Matt Smith, then Steve Johnson. So a who's who of the pro stock motorcycle category that you were able to get through. You're second in the points standings in a year where Gage is dominated. And we just heard from Hartford a couple of moments ago, your Getrix affiliated, quasi sponsor mate, that they're in a fight for second too. And second's not a bad place to be, maybe even a little freeing, knowing that first is so far out there with Gage.
Yeah, you know what? Our goal is just to be consistent. We're focusing on, each race and, doing our best to make sure that we're consistent each race. I did look and see that we made it into second in the points, and that's awesome. That's just another testament to, what our season's looking like and how we've been doing. So it's really good to be able to perform for the sponsors and, to show that, we do deserve to be out here drag racing NHRA. We have really good equipment and we have a really good team. And I feel that I've been doing a really good job of riding since, like you said, late last season. I've kind of did some soul searching, did some deep digging, and kind of figured out what was holding myself back as a rider and overcome those hurdles. And we've been doing a really good job since. So 7 races now with Getrix on board, and we've won 2 of them. So they should be really happy. I know I'm really happy with that accomplishment, and I'm just excited to be able to perform for them.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. We got a lot of people out there in the chat section giving you love, giving you support. For instance, Lauren says that you are congrats on the win and that maybe you're one of her favorite racers out there. Look at that. You are my favorite NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle racer, says Hector.
Thank you, Lauren.
That's cool. Keith says you're carrying on the family tradition. Monica says congratulations on the win. More to come. Terry says congratulations, Hector. Great job by all. You guys are like Hartford was just talking about it, and I feel like a lot of similarities. Really, all of our winners this past weekend can be considered underdogs, generally speaking, in the categories they run. Hartford, a single car team in a category with a bunch of super teams. Jim Head's team and Blake in a category where you got, John Force and Coletta and obviously all these super teams. And then in pro stock motorcycle, Vance and Hines and Matt Smith have done so much over the past few years to dominate the category. Just look at the numbers. You guys are a little bit of an underdog. I was even asking your dad, like, tell us about, where you build the engines, Hector. And he told me, I've got a little Bridgeport, and it's just amazing. Like you said it a minute ago, it's amazing that you can compete, but you are.
Yeah, it's, we have our own shop. My dad does all the work. He puts in, I wouldn't be out here racing if it wasn't for him. He puts in a lot of hard work. He goes to work every morning and works at Lucas Oil, puts in a 50-hour week there. Then from, he's at work. I believe they're at work at like 5 o'clock in the morning is when they start. He puts in his 8 to 9 hours that day and then goes to the shop and works another 4 to 5 hours each night in the shop and just, working on the bike, doing the maintenance, doing R&D on the weekends and, making it happen. We're performing and we're running the way we are because of the effort that he's putting in at the shop. And, I owe it all to him. So if it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't be out there racing and I wouldn't be performing the way that I am now. So we do, like you said, we have a little Bridgeport, we have a lathe, a 30 machine, we have a home machine, and we have our own engine dyno, and we chip away at it. And it's just, I believe, perform well because my dad is so dedicated and so stubborn to not give up that, we're able to, squeeze every little bit of power out of that motor that we can. And we've also been doing a really good job of utilizing all that power and getting it down to the track.
Well, that's what it's going to take. Tell me about, like, we got some winter circle stuff, but you came out on stage with your little girls, and that is got to be the most incredible moment, having followed your entire arc. Maybe your first interview or winterview was on WFO Radio. If we go back to when we were audio only, it's been a while, but now you're a dad, you're raising kids, you're part of the drag racing families and stuff. And there was a period where, like, maybe you were going to be gone and never come back. Like, that had to be a real reality check. Like, whoa, this isn't automatic. Just being able to be a part of the NHRA Camping World Series doesn't just happen. It only happens because of hard work and some good luck and other people wanting to help support you. Like, Lucas Oil did for so many years. Getrix is now. I just want to kind of get behind the visor a little bit to all those emotions coming together.
Yeah. When you're with the company for so long and, we were with Lucas Oil and, they still help out. And, but like you said, you get to the point where you're thinking, oh, we're always going to be out here racing. And then reality sets in and you get the call and they're saying, hey, we're no longer going to do anything. It's kind of like you're like caught with your pants down and you don't even, you don't know what to do. And it's like, all right, so we, at that point we have all the parts and the bikes to do there. So we're like, well, we got to stay out there. And so we selected 4 races to do that were close to home and that we could perform well at. So we went to those races in 21. And then in 2022, we kind of same mindset. We just, got to stay out there. If we're going to find a sponsor, we have to continue to show our face. We're not going to pick up a sponsor, not going to the races. So went to the races out in last year, and 4 turned into 5, and then 5 turned into 7 after, we went to Denver, and I mean, not Denver, but Dallas, because, they put on the Stampede of Speed. We had a free test session. We had the extra fuel money to get out there. It's like, let's go to Dallas. We went to Dallas last year. We did really well. We went to the finals. Let's go to Dallas again. Adam, my brother, lives out there in Texas, so we made an overall trip. And we went to Dallas, and we won. I mean, it was a very challenging day. We did well in testing, and we struggled a little bit the first day of qualifying, but then we were able to, run decent and get into the show. And then Sunday we woke up and it was a totally different day. A storm came in, it was raining, it was super windy. And not only that, to top it off, it was a crosswind. So, Dallas is really, weeded out, the strong riders who could ride the bike and get it down the track. And we were able to shine. We were able to get the bike down the track every run and put a decent number down on the scoreboard. So we were able to get the win. And to get the win as, just kind of go into the races here and there, it was just so awesome. And it felt so great to just kind of prove to everybody, it's like, we can still do this. We can win. We got this. And then, that night we spoke to Steve Bryson, and he said, what is it going to take for you to come to Vegas? He's like, you just want to race. You got to keep going. So we struck up a deal right there that night to go to Vegas. And he's like, you know what? You're at Vegas. What about Pomona?
Might as well.
And so we're like, all right, might as well. And then, we built on the momentum from Dallas and won the first race sponsored by Getrex at Vegas. And it was just like, what an awesome way to seal the deal. And so that turned into, we had the sponsorship with Getrex. We went through Christmas and we talked here and there, but never sealed a deal. And then it was after Christmas, Steve Bryson reached out and he's like, we had talked numbers prior to that, what it would take to go for the championship. It was a little late in the season. He also sponsors a Formula 3 GT Series BMW car, overseas. So he had already allotted so much money to that. So he's like, this is what I can offer you. I'd really like to run the full season and go for a championship. He's like, think about it. There's no pressure. I'm not looking for anybody else. And, let us know if you think you could do it. So my dad and myself, we sat down, we looked at the numbers, and we had a call with Steve. And we said, we think we could do it. We're going to try, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll go race by race and, let you know where we're at. And so, so far so good. We're performing well. We've been going to semifinals, and then we've won a race. So we're second in points, and let's just keep the train rolling. Let's keep it going and keep our heads down, keep digging, and we'll see what we could do.
The championship. Not that people are writing Gage Herrera's name on it just yet. There's a long way to go, right? But the kid's been running real well. He's a points leader by a lot. But how can what you do now factor in to then? Like, I hear pro stock teams are preparing tires already, different stuff. People are putting things away that they want to have it. It seems like it's a long way away, but not really. You guys are getting ready to go out on the Western swing, from what I understand, to the full swing, which is going to be cool. Just from here on out, how do you turn this one win into like a championship run, or at least be in the conversation till the very last?
It's just keeping up the consistency. So every race we're getting better at, getting the bike dialed in to leaving the starting line, getting good 60 foots. When you look at our numbers, we have the good back half numbers, and where Vance and Hines is beating us right now, it's, the front half of the track, the first 60 feet, 60 to 330. So it's getting the bike dialed in. It's, and just being back out there full time, going consistently racing is what's helped us be able to dial the bike back in. So this past weekend, we were able to have two 105 60 foots, which were were our best 60 foot so far of the year, which has helped us get the better ETs, to also go along with the strong mile an hour numbers. So it's just continuing to dial in the bike. Like you said, when we get good parts, we got to put them to the side. We got to save them for the countdown, and not that you burn everything up and use it all up, and now come the countdown, you've wasted everything out. So we are looking into that, and we're just looking at staying consistent, and hopefully we can also between now and then, do some more R&D, find a little extra horsepower, and then go from there. But what is it going to take? It's going to take consistency, and it's going to take good riding. Don't always have to be the fastest bike to win. You just have to be the most consistent, and you have to be, on point. If you're on point, and the thing is to not beat yourself, to, do your best. If they beat you and you did everything that you could, then they beat you fair and square. But to give up races, that's where it hurts. And so I think come the countdown, it's going to be who makes the least amount of mistakes.
That's awesome. No, I love that. I hear the wisdom in you, the wisdom as you get older, right? Like you're learning all this stuff that's like, all right, no, consistency wins races. I think it is great. Hector, congratulations. Thank you so much for coming on WFO Radio. You got yourself an ice cream scoop, which is super cool. Big win, but it's going to be, there it is. Oh, look, Hartford showed us his. Show us yours. Ice cream. It's huge. It says, what's it say on it? It says, God, guns and guts made America free. But man, if you had to slug somebody with that, they'd be in big trouble.
This thing it's got some weight to it. And, just to touch back on that, Norwalk, Ohio, and back in 2008, that was our first win as a team. That was my dad's first event win. His first Wally was earned at that racetrack. So Norwalk has always held a special place in our hearts. Not only is it, an awesome track an awesome facility that the Baiters have there, but, it's our first race win. It's the first track that I earned my first number one qualifier. So it's meant a lot to us, and we love going there. And to be able to earn my own win there at that track, and to be able to earn the ice cream scoop special edition trophy is awesome. When my dad was in 2008, when he won the race, they didn't have that trophy out there yet. So to be able to add that to our collection is just it's the icing on the cake.
Oh, there it is.
Or the ice cream on the cherry pie.
Or the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. Did you have any ice cream?
I had a couple little bites, but I did not have the ice cream like I usually do. Been really strict and doing everything that I can to stay as light as possible. That's another key to the success is being light. So I'm doing everything I can to stay light and trying to even lose a little bit more weight because I know it's only going to help our performance.
That's great. Now, Hector, awesome. Have a happy 4th of July. You and your fam. Just so awesome to see the great success that you guys are having. You're right in the middle of it. Pro Stock Motorcycle going to be awesome. Steve is running well. Angie's going to be fast. Matt Smith's not going anywhere. He's going to be fast. Gianna is coming on. There's just so many great stories in Pro Stock Motorcycle right now. Going to be fun to follow and fun to watch through the Western swing. And everybody wants to win that last race at Denver, right? Like that's the new target right now. Last race, Denver, one off, all focus, getting that final win to close that place down.
Yeah, I'm so glad and fortunate to be able to say that I'm going there to be able to, participate in the last race. It's one of our favorite racetracks. We haven't raced there since I believe we won it last time I raced there was the last time I won the race. It was in 2019, and it's one of our favorite tracks. We love it there, and Bannerman Speedway is awesome, and definitely going to miss going there in the mountain. But I'm glad I'm going to be able to at least make it out there for the last race.
Absolutely. All right. Say hi to the fam for me. Thank you for coming on WFO Radio Super Show. You, Blake, Hartford, all talking about your wins, all underdog teams getting the job done at America's racetrack. It was awesome to watch, and we'll see you in Denver. Happy 4th of July, of course, Hector, and appreciate you coming on the show.
All right, Joe. Thanks for having me. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us. And what a great Wonder Circle group, huh? Like you said, I kept seeing all the guys win, and it was, like you said, it was the underdogs and the guys that hadn't won for a while, and it was just a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy there at the top end, and I mean, there's nothing like it.
Awesome.
NHRA drag racing, everybody.
The behind the scenes video that just came out, everybody should go see that, right? You were like, you go, what did you do? You let out a woo, but then you let out like an exhale of just, it seemed
Big
like
sigh of relief.
Right. Okay. We did it. That's there's got to be no other feeling. All right, Hector, be good. Have a great weekend.
All right. Take care, everybody.
There he goes. Hector Arana Jr. with us here on WFO Radio. Yeah, those behind the scenes videos are great, as are everything out there on the NHRA social media. But thanks to Hector, thanks to Blake, and thanks to Hartford. And let's get some final comments in the comment section, guys, while I tell you about a couple of things that we got going here in the WFO universe. For instance, this Dodge Mile High Nationals. Like, everybody should circle it. You know, you think of these one-off races. This is the start of the Western Swing, all of that. But given the unfortunate nature of it being the final one, some news that we found out earlier this year, it's going to be packed. And that's a new and different incentive. You always want to win, but now there's an urgency. This is the last one. And so everybody is going to be throwing everything that they got, I would imagine. I don't think there's going to be too many racers that are going to go there and be like, yeah, I don't really care if I win or lose this last race. Everybody goes to every race trying to win, but they're all running their own different programs. Who's doing this and who's doing that, or where are they in the arc of? Sometimes you put all that aside and you put everything you got into trying to win one. And I guess Denver's like that every year because the data is useless pretty much everywhere else, which is what makes it cool. But I think everybody's going to be bringing their A++ game, and that's going to make it fun and exciting for all of us in a couple of weeks. So, all right, put your comments in the comment section. I'm going to tell you about a few things. Obviously, the folks at Foggit, Foggit, world-class engine protection. It's a spray that just goes into your engine after it's all over to protect your cylinders. And that microscopic corrosion starts right away. Developed by Gary Stinnett and helped to market by Steve Williams. They've got a great contingency program as well. Go to Foggit to find out more how you can prevent the inside of your cylinders from changing is really what it is due to corrosion and microscopic rust. Our Patreons, these are people who support WFO Radio by being a member. It's like a VIP listener club. It's a backstage pass. Hartford called it a speakeasy of WFO Radio, which is true because we've got the Hear It From Heiner show where Pro Stock Crew Chief Michael Heiner comes on there and debriefs on his races, but also it allows the Patreons to join in the Ignition show and comment and direct the show. I just sent out a giant pack of decals and of T-shirts to people who had signed up for a year. I finally did it. I'm finally caught up with the Patreons. I've finally done it. Yes. And I swear, no joke, the second I got back from the post office and I'm like, I finally sent out, somebody new signed up to Patreon. And I'm like, all right, it's great. We start again. Now I filled out their stickers and their patch. They get stickers, a patch, and something cool, a screen cleaner that says WFO Radio on it. And if you sign up for a year, you get a T-shirt. Go to patreon.com/WFO Radio. You can find it on all of our channels. Linktree, you can get there on WFOradio.com. But if you want the backstage pass, then you join us on Patreon. And what does that go to, right? You're paying for something. The answer is it goes to all of this, right? Like this fantastic camera that I use for NHRA Nitro, right? That is thanks to the Patreons, infrastructure, supporting the show, helping us grow. Because I like to think like Hector and like Blake and like Hartford, they are slight underdogs on the racetrack. They wouldn't be there if they couldn't get the job done. WFO Radio, we are an underdog in the media industry. You think of all these big, giant, massive companies and corporations that put out shows and they're coming and going, whatever. That's not us. We are the mom and pop store trying to get the job done, trying to showcase the people and personalities of NHRA drag racing while also having fun and being funny. Tough task every now and again. Also, want to mention samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. The world needs the next generation of machinists who know what they're doing and how to use all these tools and have the mindset to do and build and make. Go to samtech.edu. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Check them out, samtech.edu. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Frank got a little bit of a shout out when Hartford was on. This is the second time Hartford has referenced that classroom experience as having benefited him, even though he put his brother through the course. Adam turns 50, goes on the super gas course, was the first time he had been down the racetrack ever. But Hartford listened to the class and listen to Frank. I've already learned that. And don't forget, by the way, I don't know if it's sold out or not, but 866-480-7223, July 24th through 26th, they will be at Bandimere Speedway. So you can go on the dragster adventure with Frank at Bandimere. That would be pretty cool. And I think you should probably do it. And then there's RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com. The hot sauces and the spice rubs and everything that is so good. Grills, tools, tips, information. He's going to be at the Stampede of Speed. RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com. That's the website. Go check it out. Or call him. 817-924-6821. That's 817-924-6821. And big thanks to all of our sponsors, whether it be Bernie's Speed Shop, Bernie's.com, Hartford and Total Seal, Phillips-Connect, Foggett, FTI. These are the people who genuinely make it possible for me to go WFO. I could not do this show for a living without our sponsors. And people who are buying WFO gear in the store, that's pretty amazing. We've sold over $1,000 worth of gear on the WFO store. But I tell you all the time, wait till it goes on sale. Definitely wait till it goes on sale, because it goes on sale all the time. And you're getting t-shirts for like $16. Yeah. Why would you not want to do that? But I had a really great weekend. So much cool stuff out there. Me and Eddie. Time to get back on the diet, though. That's what happens after you had 3 pints of ice cream. If you're interested in photos of the weekend, check out our page up on the friend book. A lot of cool photographs, and Instagram and all our different social media. Yeah, this is a super show. I want to get on out of here. So hopefully others will post it. But here's one. Keith Kaufman. How about having Ron Torno on the show? I would like that. He's a Patreon. Ron Torno's a Patreon, so I think he should probably be on with the Patreons first. But yeah, Ron Torno and that family racing team, including Monomer Rap, they're getting better and better. That's the moral of the story with the NHRA, is it's really rare that you're just going to show up and light the world on fire. It's going to take a few years. And so if your business plan is that we're going to arrive and we're going to win the championship, but the longer you stick around and you just bash your head against that wall, eventually the wall is going to start to break. AJ, great show today, Joe. Gary, great show today, Joe. I appreciate it. Oh, here's Stan. Joe, have you received an email to invest in the fire department coffee? $495 is the minimum. I have not, Stan. I have not. You know, we got Marvin. Marvin's a sponsor. He roasts his own. He's kind of like a boutique roasting company. Very small bags, small beans, coffee from around the world. So, but I'm super excited that the folks at Fire Department Coffee are out at the races with their local hero award. And it's an honor to be able to read the script whenever we have a local hero. And it's pretty amazing how much they do. And they got a TV commercial that they're airing, so I appreciate it. But Marvin is more of a small batch microbrew when it comes to coffee. So I think they can both operate in their own space. Fantastic super show. Have a great 4th of July. Yeah, everybody. Get excited about 4th of July. This is it. Next week, no show on Tuesday. We'll work it out. But I can tell you, Wednesday, the 5th of July. Is everybody ready for this vital information? Leah, going to be on the show Wednesday, the 5th of July, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a night show. Yeah, that's right. The darker it gets, the faster they go. And so it's going to be Leah, but I think it's going to be Leah plus Neil is going to come on the show. It's going to be Leah and Neil. Like Neil beat his mentor. It was like, you know, student beating the teacher, as Mike Green and Neil Strasbaugh faced off in the final round of Top Fuel. Leah beat Justin Ashley and Austin Prock back to back. That's going to be a fun show. A week from yesterday on the 5th of July at 8 p.m. Don't worry. Follow the social media. I will let you know. NHRA needs to add more tracks. They are dwindling. I don't know about that. People are saying that the right amount of national events is between 18 and 22. That's what they're saying. So we got enough tracks. but it's the markets. I don't like losing that market, and I hate losing Bandimere just because of the character of the facility. There's all kinds of rumors about maybe another track somewhere out there. The Bandimere family loves drag racing more than anybody, but the character of that facility is unrivaled. There's all these rumors about the new South Florida track that I am, got my big nose right in the middle of all of it. So we'll see. Keep listening to WFO for more information. We're working on it, though. Unfortunately, never got to see a race at Bandimere Speedway, but has been to the track while visiting with the family. NHRA teams stayed at my hotel. That's how I got hooked, got to meet Larry Dixon. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's not too late, Mike. It's not too late. One of our listeners, Sacramento Racing Fan, who is a Patreon, came on there and tried to give us this sad story about, never going to be there ever again. And we just peer pressured the heck out of him. That's what Patreon's all about. It's the community, guys. It has nothing to do with the show. It's this great community of people who support WFO and also use that power to peer pressure each other, apparently. And this guy folded up like a pop tent. He bought his tickets. He's coming. He's coming to Bandimere. Seriously. I want to beat on the desk, but I don't want anything to break in here. Everybody's got a little money they put aside for something special. If you have never seen a race in person at Bandimere, it's an experience that you really should have. Our Patreon meetup is at the Stampede of Speed later on this year. I'm going to be there all 11 days. It's amazing. We made it the Patreon meetup location for many reasons. But that was before we knew Bandimere was going to be the last one. So, no joke, folks. You got a couple of weeks. Get yourself on one of those, cheap airline tickets deals. It's Denver, so you'll be able to find a room. It's not like you're going to somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. It's Denver. And maybe you got to drive in there. But don't miss this opportunity if you've never seen a race at Bandimere Speedway. It is a totally unique experience. You're in Colorado. You're right by Golden. There's Coors beer. There's all kinds of stuff. You can go see Red Rocks and that Dinosaur Canyon. You can see the Red Rocks Amphitheater. There's so much to do walking minute distance from the track. It's really a gut ache that we're losing this one. It's got such character. I understand why, but it's very, very sad. But we're going to go be there, and you should too. Let's send it out in style. Let's make some memories. Okay. Stan wants us to know everything about his life. His microwave died this morning, and he was able to change the fuse back in business. Well, exactly. It's broken. Oh, it's fixed. Think of how many people, Stan, wouldn't have even been smart enough to think about the fuse. They would have just thrown it away. They would have gone to Amazon. They would have ordered a new one, and it would have come out there. Do they sell microwaves on Racing Junk? I think they do. Great show today. Speaking of which, I've been burning up the Racing Junk classifieds. You can get there on WFOradio.com. For all the Project Pontiac stuff, searching for parts, searching for pieces. Project Pontiac is advancing, guys. Follow along as we turn an old bracket car into an NHRA Super Street car over the period of 11 years. Celebrate, can be shorter than that. Celebrate America this Independence Day. Everybody be safe and enjoy our freedoms. Absolutely. No, it's my favorite holiday. 4th of July. I love it. People get angry at me from time to time. Here's one of those straw man arguments, except it's true. Back in the day when I would, buy American and people would tell me, no, don't do that. It's good to see that's coming around. It's good to see all the investment and the building microchips and doing all kinds of things that we hadn't done for so many years. Maybe one of the positive things that came out of that pandemic was that people realized that things have to be built and made here in America. And people got to get paid for their work and all of these great things. That's what 4th of July is. What matters? Governments come and go through world history. There's still Italians in Italy, but Rome fell, right? Life will go on. People will go on. But America, the shining city on a hill, we have to make it go on. We have to make it. I don't know why I got WFO merchandise up there during my big patriotic speech. We've got to make it happen. And it is hingent upon us being involved and caring and listening to each other. That's what America is. It's an idea. It's not a location. It's an idea. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. All men are created equal. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. These great wise words from a potpourri of presidents and figures of our past, they are not untrue. We got to do it. 4th of July. And if it's by eating some hot dogs and enjoying an ice cold beer, I'm all for it. What I will be doing is going to New York on the 3rd and enjoying a baseball game Monday night at Yankee Stadium and traveling home. That's what I will be doing. I think there's not too many things more American than that. And now Keith can say buy WFO merchandise. He's right. You should definitely buy some WFO merchandise. Yeah. Don't be that guy and, on YouTube and blow your hands off. No, you got to be very safe. Fireworks safety is very important. I enjoyed this big show. Thank you, Dragster Jeff. Thank you. We're falling behind. You know who didn't get on the show? Erica and Steve Johnson didn't get on the show for their wins out there in Thunder Valley. So we got to check in with E, and we got to check in with Steve. Two very interesting characters. We're not going to let that one fall through the cracks. No way. But we need you to share the show, guys. You got to be super aggressive. You got to evangelicalize. Best podcast for information, consistent, not pre-recorded like other podcasts. Some of it is, but not right now. This is happening right now. I do it live. You know why? It's easier to do it live. I don't have a staff. I don't have anybody. I'm just me doing all this stuff, putting all this stuff, flying the plane. Jason Logan, Life's a Drag, complaining about it. This is like flying a rocket ship. Yeah, man. Joe, what are you going to do for 4th of July? I'm going to Yankee Stadium, Blake. I'm going to be up there. First thing, I land on the 3rd. I'm going to go check out the all-new LaGuardia Airport, which supposedly has gone from one of the worst in the country to one of the best in the country. A total refurbish, over $1 billion into, LaGuardia Airport. I'm going to check that out. And then I'm going to go into the city. I'm going to wait for the fam to arrive. Gio in Miami and Mrs. Gio and the Gray, who is up there at Cooperstown playing in a super week-long baseball league. And then we're going to go to Yankee Stadium and cap it. I would love to try to get to the top of One World Trade Center. May or may not happen. Scott says, Bobby Fazio had a lot of nice things to say about WFO Joe on this week's podcast. Oh, man, I love those. Send me the timestamp, though, so I can go right to it. No, Bobby Fazio, I assume that's who you mean. Great guy. Hung out with Bobby a few times up there. Forget where we were. Sat, had a couple beers, and I should get him on, and he should get me on, and we're just getting the schedule together. But he does a great thing for the class racers, an underappreciated bunch, putting in countless effort, endless effort to do things that only a few people understand. Way to go, Bobby. Thank you, Scott, for telling me. Excellent show, Joe. I'm off to work. Yeah, go, Lonnie. Go back to work. Eddie, tried to tag you in some posts on Facebook, Eddie. You weren't on there. Great show as always. Great seeing you, WFO Joe for president. Yeah. My political career, right? Maybe that lies in the future. Maybe I'll run for something. Good time for me to watch. Yes, Eddie. Would love to see Norwalk Summit Motorsports Park getting a second date. That's all about, can the market handle it? And that's a question. There are some tracks that could handle a second date. We are really working hard on the South Florida project, guys. We're really working hard. And it is a long shot, but there's a shot. And long shots have been coming in since Madge. Have a great 4th of July. Great 4th of July. Like and share, people. This guy's right, man. You got to share. The social media algorithm is just holding us back. It's holding us back so much. You can only have X% of how many people like and follow. Where do I want all the people to go, though? You can subscribe on the YT channel, our channel, or get the mobile application. And that leads you to everything. Enable push notifications. But wherever you watch, however you watch, I'm thrilled by it. If it's a week into the future, or 6 months into the future, the WFO universe is a community. First of all, it's not just a show, it's a community. People come on every week like this guy, Jeff Rice, WFO's on fire. Those shirts are available, by the way. Wait till they go on sale. But this guy's posting in our WFO group, all kinds of news, great information from all forms of racing. This guy's got a Studebaker. He's like working on these things. Everybody in the WFO group seems to be a doer, hands-on, making it happen. And I could not do it without the buy-in from the drivers The moment I missed, I'm driving down the highway. This Chevy truck pulls out in front of me, and I notice, and then the window starts to roll down, right in front of you. And out comes a Wally. Where'd this guy get a Wally? What? And it's Blake. And it was just such a genuine moment. Whoever was in the truck and Blake and me on the highway. This is so big. It's so big when you can break through for a win. It validates all the hard work. So much hard work out there. Speaking of hard work, mounting those slicks on a Pro Stock tire, Pro Stock wheel, beadlocks. Much easier than I remember it. But still not easy by any means. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Appreciate all you. The archive going to be located. The next time you'll hear the show will be on the 5th of July with Leah, 8 p.m. Don't miss that. WFO.